In the technology-driven world we now live in, global competition in respect to education is at its all-time high. If we continue to progress at this current rate, where will we be in 2030?
In the last 10 years, the world has gone through a technology revolution that has exploded onto the market. This revolution has influenced everything we have come to know. The American public education system has changed dramatically during this new technology era. The number of global internet devices has multiplied by 1,000 in the last 10 years. The amount of technical information doubles every 2 years. Will America surmount these global progressions in the next 20 years?
To keep up with global technological and governmental demands, the American public education system must be enhanced. Education is the determining factor in deciding whether America will stay afloat in the international competition for hegemony.
The global competition between nations is what causes the need to improve American education.
In order to implement change, the government must set levels of achievement with laws such as the No Child Left Behind Act. To carry out these standards, modern technology will be needed in local school districts.
America was once the leading nation in education, and now trails behind several others, especially those in Asia. What policies will our nation have to enact to raise the levels of these three factors?
So what is the cause of America's poor global performance? Before we answer this question, we must first discuss America's global standings. On average, China exports 3.3 million students from high school every year, whereas America exports a minuscule 1.3 million. And the top 5 nations in math skills are Finland, South Korea, Canada, Hong Kong, and the Netherlands. America sits below many smaller nations in 28th place. When asked what the cause of America's poor standing is, the majority of responders said that the teachers were the cause.
Resources into teachers. I believe that salaries, that you have to make an investment in your teachers because the job is so demanding in order to bring those benefits back home to students.
American 4th graders are among the best in the world in math, but by 9th grade, test scores dropped to global average levels. In the 60s, America's education system was untouchable by any other nation. At that time, Korea had the education of present-day Afghanistan. This means that change is obtainable, for Korea is now second in global mathematics.
Because we are already at the top in terms of world power, we tend to become lazy and we tend to become arrogant. We need to refocus and decide to make education a greater priority and a greater draw.
A major influence on America's public education is the No Child Left Behind Act. It is changing the way our teachers are teaching and what is being taught in our classrooms. There are many different opinions as to whether or not No Child Left Behind is good or bad for America's future. Statistics show students aged 9 through 13 have increased the amount they read by 20 pages a day. The achievement gap in reading between Caucasians and African American 9-year-old students is the smallest that it has ever been, and it is continuing to shrink. However, many people in our country feel that No Child Left Behind has hindered the development of our full potential. No Child Left Behind forces all students to perform at the same standard, regardless of individual impediments or potential.
I think that No Child Left Behind is a good thing. I do think that it has some great aspects to it, but I think that there are major changes that need to be made in the legislation. The law needs to be reevaluated for the best potential of the students, not just for lawmakers and educators.
Other countries around the world are becoming more advanced every day. India has more honor students than America has students. Many people feel that if American education doesn't change, we will fall behind, and we won't be able to compete with other countries, such as India and China, who are in the middle of their industrial revolutions.
We need to become much more of a global type of education where we're learning not just about our own country but also about the world and combining that with real-world connections to help kids see how things are going to change in the future.
Some political parties want to change the curriculum of the American public education system. Science and math have become vitally important, so schools may start focusing more on these subjects as a way to prepare for the future. America is preparing students to use technology that hasn't been developed and for jobs that don't yet exist.
50 years ago, one of the earliest computers, ENIAC, stood 10 feet tall, extended 80 feet wide, and weighed 30 tons. Not only has technology increased, so has the rate of progression. A $1,000 notebook computer now has more computing horsepower than a $20 million supercomputer of the early 1990s. Unfortunately, the American public education system does not grow at the same rate.
Public education cannot keep up with the new technology because of cost and factors such as that. Technology is just, the demand for new and interesting things is just going so fast, and by the time we at school buy the newest computer, they're already out of date.
With so much more technology being put into use at schools, there seems to be a problem fitting everything into a 180-day school year. Schools in China have 250 days. Added up over 12 years, that's an additional 3 to 4 years of schooling. The traditional American school calendar, set up with a 3-month summer break, was originally intended for economic purposes when kids were needed help on the farm. Now schools may start instituting year-round calendars to prevent learning loss over the summer. The earth is constantly adapting before our very eyes. The only way to keep up is to educate our youth more efficiently.
The future of America lies in their hands, and all we can do is send them to the best possible schools.
To maintain hegemony in America, future generations must be smarter and more creative than ever before.
Educational global affairs are pushing the future of American education to higher levels. If America wants to remain the world hegemon, our new president must commence the process by passing new education laws to boost school performances.
New technology of the world will allow for all of this to happen. So what is the future of American public education? If our government supplies the proper drive to America's citizens, the public education system of America will once again rise to the top of the charts.
New technology and a more global curriculum are some solutions that will reunite America with its previous educational standings.